Okay, to get straight to the point, this is the reason why I actually stopped making content on this platform and TikTok. Okay. So, first of all, I've been making content since I was 16 years old, right? So, whenever I started making it on TikTok and my page just blew up within a year to 2 years, I was just like, whoa. And I was just talking about Jesus and everything and talking about, the things that were on my mind. I wasn't necessarily going in with my personality per se and saying funny things, like just making that the sole subject of the video. I was just mainly talking about Jesus and making my personality around that, right? So at peak, I would say 2022, my account reached 88,000 followers, right? And whenever I started talking about the hokey pokey, right? And whenever I started talking about the back in 2020 during quarantine, I got a lot of flags for that. I got a lot of people hating on me for that, right? And so, people reported my videos. I got some videos taken down. But predominantly, I was just talking about Jesus. I was making those videos, and the peak, like I said, I was at 88,000 followers, right? Ever since I got shadow banned, because I realized my views started to get less and less and less. Right. And I started to realize that because it used to be easy for me to get like 10,000 views on a video, especially whenever I started like going heavy, like talking like real, I knew that the video was going to blow up because I know how the algorithm works. I know how to talk and I know how to be in front of a camera. I know what worked on TikTok back whenever it first, blew up like that. Right. So I knew how to capture people's attention. It was very easy to do such a thing. Right. So whenever I said whatever I said, I saw my views and everything, but then I started to see my views started to decline. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Maybe I'm not producing, that good of content that is capturing people's attention like I normally did, right? So like I said, it was like 10,000 views. That was like my average, right? And then I started to see like 5,000. I was just like, oh, that's weird. That's half of what I was originally like getting. So then I started to see that became the norm. And I was just like, dang, I'm not going as hard as I used to. Whatever. It's all good. And then I started to see my followers like decrease, and I'm not getting followers anymore. So then not only did I see my followers like start to decline, I also saw the follower count going down as well as the views, and with the 5,000. And one day I saw it was like 86, and I was like, I didn't really look at my follower count too much, because once I hit, all I really wanted was like 10K, and after that I would just like whatever, because like I just knew that it was just gonna blow up just because of how I was talking and how I was actually engaging with my audience. Saw that, I was like, I could have sworn it was at like 88K, and I confused the number. I was like, maybe I'm tripping, right? And then I saw it to go to 85, and then 84, and then it just started. I was just like, yo, where? I was like, either people not like me. I was like, what's going on? How do I lose thousands of followers? And I just like took a small mini break or whatever and stopped producing as much content because I was working, going into school, and making content at the same time. That's hard, especially whenever you're trying to come up with stuff off the top of your head. So I was like, oh, that's weird. But then whenever I saw both of the followers and the viewer count going down, I was like, yo, I think my page is getting tampered with. And I think that I'm starting to get shadow banned. I think this is like the genesis of that, right? So I started to see that. And then my follower count now is at 75.8K. My followers are like they're there. But you want to know how many views I get on average now? I get about 500 to, if I even get lucky, 1,000 views, right? The like count went down. My follower count went down. I don't even get followers anymore for real. And my view count went down. There was this one video that I posted last year, and it started to go viral, right? It hit that 10K mark, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm not shadow banned. Maybe it was like, I'm trying to give TikTok every excuse in the book at this point. It stopped literally at 10K, the view count. I was just like, yo, I was like, the video went viral in less than 2 hours. How did the view count just stop? It just stopped. So I was just like, I said, okay, yeah, my page is like getting tampered with. There's nothing that I can do. And I thought, I was like, well, maybe I can start posting to my backup or just make a whole brand spanking new account. I was just like, well, and I contemplated that, and I was just like, I don't know. I don't want to have to start all the way over. But I was just like, I mean, something's got to give, right? So I was just like, I'm not going to do it. So I gave in, and I was just like, all right, I'm just going to have to deal with these like 500 views, 1,000 views. And it really de-incentivized me from making content, especially on here, because YouTube is actually a lot harder. You know, to like do what you need to do in order to get the views. But once the views are here on YouTube, they actually stay here, or people will just unsubscribe. Like, you'll see it. So that was one of the reasons why I would just like, screw it. I don't want to make any content anymore, because like I put a lot of effort and work into like my main account that blew up in like a year or two. And now it's just I'm completely de-incentivized from making content. My last video got like 400 views, 400, and I have 75,000 followers, right? And it's not like it's just a one-off. That is on average. It happens almost every time, and it's just like, yeah. So, and then I'm not getting pushed to the For You page anymore because I was talking about all that stuff. Even though I stopped, you know, I would just like, bro, like, there's no point of making content anymore. And so I was just like, all right, well, starting this year, on 2025, I'm going to make a whole brand new spanking new account, because TikTok got banned for like 12 hours and then it came back. So I said, you know what? I'll make a whole brand new spanking account, and then I'll see what happens. I made a brand new account. Within the 4th day, my video went viral. It went viral. And I was like, I knew that I didn't lose my edge, bro. I knew it. So whenever the video went viral, I was like, okay, here we go. I'm going to try to get my followers back up. And also, another reason, now, obviously, I love Jesus. You know, it's clear that I do. You know, I'm a Christian at heart. I will always be one. But, you know, sometimes I want to speak on something else that's not Christian. I want to talk about like something that's funny, or just something on my mind, or like like a hot topic or something like that. You know, not drama related per se, but, you know, like, I want to talk about other things as well, because that's just how I am as a person. And like, I just like to talk, and I like to create content. Like I said, I've been making content since I was 16 years old. So, I mean, like, I like to talk. I like to create the content, come up with the idea, talk about it, make sure like it's good and everything, edit it, post it, and then engage with it, and then rinse and repeat. That's what I like to do. That's part of who I am as a person. Right? But whenever I'm getting de-incentivized and my content is getting pushed out there, it's just like, bro, what's the point? What's the point? And I'm not jealous of other people. I'm happy about other people. You know, I'm a supporter. Like, I'll be like, oh, I like how you said this and X, Y, and Z. So I will support them, even though they have more, or even if they have less people following them than I have. It's just like, dude, if the content is good, that's all that matters to me. I don't care. It doesn't matter. If I like the content, I like it. But that was another reason. So, and also, whenever I was at my peak, I met a lot of people through TikTok, a lot of people. And I created these friendships with them. And because I was at such a high, a lot of people wanted to, you know, like talk with me. They wanted to do Bible studies with me. They invited me to like do Zooms and all that crap. And I turned it down because like I'm an introvert at heart. So what I mean by that, obviously, like you'll be like, what? You're an introvert? But just look at how you're talking through your phone or through a camera or whatever. Yeah, because if I just look at you like this the entire time, you're not gonna want to watch the video. It's not engaging at all. It's not entertaining at all. So I know I'm an introvert with extroverted qualities, right? I know whenever it's time to talk. I know whenever it's time to be quiet, because I'm really to myself anyways. So I mean, that's just how I am as a person. It's always how I've been, and I started to realize that whenever I was literally at my 9-year-old birthday party. I remember that to this day. Nevertheless, I'm not going to get into that because that's a whole different story, right? So whenever I met all these people, whenever my view count started to go down, that's whenever they started to stop engaging with me as well. Because I followed through them through social media platforms, Instagram. I followed them through TikTok, and I only followed a couple. And I got a couple people's phone numbers, and we would just like communicate, whether if it was like had something, it was mainly something that had to do with God, or whatever the case may be, or like, hey, I'm proud of you, or you're getting married, this is fantastic, this is good that you're getting close to God, blah 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 blah. um but as time went on, they start, and I know everyone has a life, I'm not an idiot, and I understand that, and I'm cognizant of that. But they stopped like engaging with me, period. Right. And one thing that really stuck out, there was a hurricane that happened, and I knew this person lived in the state that the hurricane was going to happen in, and it was a very dangerous one. So I reached out to them. I was like, yo, like, I hope that you're good and everything, like, hope that you're okay, and I'm praying for you and everything. No, that person did not reach back at me at all, but they're posting on like their Instagram stories or whatever, and that made me feel some sort of way, because I'm like, yo, I'm looking out for your well-being and making sure that you're good and you're alive and safe and everything. And you can even say like acknowledge me, be like, hey, like, thank you. But you'll be like, well, why are you getting so upset about that? Well, it happened throughout multiple people did that. Like, I was just like reaching out, just because, or like communicating back with them, and I just got completely radio silenced. And I was just like, and it made me feel like, and obviously I'm not Jesus, but whenever Jesus was about to get arrested and crucified on the cross, and everyone left him, including his like followers and his disciples, because he was like going through a low period. And whenever I was going through my low period, there was like nobody there, and I just felt abandoned. And so like that made me, I was just like, all right. So like that wasn't necessarily a reason why I stopped creating content, but it really opened my eyes. I'll be like, okay, whenever you're at a high at a social media platform, if you're getting views or money or whatever, um, then people are gonna rock with you. But if you're going through a low period or whatnot, there's not gonna be that many people there. And speaking of money, I didn't get that much money from TikTok anyways. You want to know how much money I got in total? I got about 20 to 40 bucks. That's how much money that I curated from TikTok. I didn't get that much money. I was on live. I didn't get gifted that much. There was people there like talking to me or whatever, but they that's it. Like, they don't talk to me anymore. I follow still a couple of them, but other than that, I don't talk to them. We have nothing to talk about. Like, I put myself out there. I didn't get the same energy reciprocated, so it's over. After that happened, I was just like, man. So the past, like, 2024 and 2023, the last 2 years, has been really, really hard. I went through like some personal stuff, and then on top of that, I fell back into sin in some regards. I didn't kill nobody. I didn't sell anybody any like illegal substances or anything like that. But it was just very hard of like the stuff that I said. I was just like, dang, bro, these are supposed to be my brothers and sisters in Christ, right? So called, and that's why I look at it as though it doesn't matter if you're a Christian or not. People are going to be people regardless if they call themselves a Christian. So I went through like a sort of crisis, lack of a better term. I was like, okay, it doesn't matter if they're Christian, this and that. And so I started to actually look at people different. And started to seclude myself by myself, and I was just like, all right. And like I said, I fell into like certain sins, and I was just like, you know what? I'm not gonna come on here and tell people that they need to do X, Y, and Z, because as a follower of Christ, and I'm doing something that, like, I started cursing again, because I've been very angry, confused, frustrated about like these certain aspects of my life, and because everyone's going through a hard time right now, especially in America. Well, no matter where you are, everyone, like, to a certain degree, is going through a hard time right now. So I started cursing again, and I was just like, you know what? I can't come on here and like that's just not who I am, and I don't feel comfortable saying like, hey, you need to do this as a Christian, and it'll be hard for me to even pick up my Bible and read, so, or pray, because like I'll be like, man, I'll be like, God, where are you at? Like, what is going on? Like, where are you at? So I pretty much just included myself from everyone in the physical and God. And I can't remember if I said this, but whenever I made the new account and it started to like blow up and everything, on my TikTok, it got shadow banned again. Like, I noticed like my views started to, and I just started the new account, so I don't expect to get thousands of views like already. Like, is brand spanking new. Like I understand that and I get it. But whenever I see my view hitting like 20,000 on my fourth, fifth, or sixth video, and I start to see like I'm not getting pushed out in the For You page anymore, and my second to latest video gets 33 views, 33, and I was like, bro. But my first video that I put out that wasn't like already saved hit 1,000 views, the very first. But the second, the second latest one that I put out, it's 33 views. 33. I was just like, dude, I quit, bro. Like I'm not gonna stress myself out and be like, okay, I gotta produce this content. I have to think of this, I have to think of that. I'm just completely de-incentivized of making content if it's not even gonna get pushed out into the For You page. And I did everything, bro. I deleted I even posted it from my other phone. The whole brand new content, because I was like, well, maybe like there's a bug on something on this phone, and maybe they captured me, but like, oh snap, this is that kid that posted all that stuff back in like 2020 all the way through 2022. Yeah, let's go ahead and get his page again, because he like tried to like go the loop around way. Like I don't know what's going on with TikTok on their end, but I'm not gonna continue to play their game. I made 2 backup pages. The very first backup page that I made, that got shadow banned. And then I made the one 3 years later. Now, this is shadow banned. It's just like, bro, like, what is the point? What's the point of me posting content if it's not going to get reached out? And I made this decision last night. And on top of that, I've been thinking about making about this video, about this particular topic for a while. I've been thinking about doing it. The reason why I haven't done it is because, like, I'm kind of de-incentivized for making content. It's just like, bro, like what's the point? Maybe I should just disappear. I was like, well, what else could I do? I was like, well, I could start making content on YouTube, because like it's a slow grind, you know. And like I said, I love God, but sometimes I want to make videos that doesn't have anything to do with like being a Christian or, you know, following God, like that. And that's a hard task to take, you know, if God puts that on you. You know, being a teacher or a disciple and everything. Whenever Paul, because I was reading my Bible today, whenever Paul first became a Christian, he didn't just start preaching straight out the gate. It took him 3 years, and then he started preaching. 3 years. Whenever I started talking, because I've been a Christian my whole life, but that's whenever I really started, you know, to get into God. So that was like less than a year. But God has already been like planted deep inside my heart. So it's just like not necessarily a year, but I mean, you know what I mean? So, I mean, there's different timelines for everything. But my whole point is I'd rather make videos on YouTube and like the followers still be here, or the subscribers in this case still be here, than me just get completely shadow banned. Because it's just like, bro, like I said, I didn't get any money from them for real. What the heck am I going to do with $40? What am I going to do with that? Buy a pizza party for my coworkers? Like, what? I'm not going to do that. No. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to stress myself out over it. I'm pretty much done with TikTok. I'm just going to be a consumer of TikTok, because I still like the videos that are pushed out to me on my For You page, because my For You page is the truth. I have four TikToks, right? 2 of the backup pages, and one of the I have an edit account. My main page, the 2 backups, and my edit account. And my For You pages are the truth, right? I be having a blast on my For You page. But making the content like I used to, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm completely de-incentivized. And then on top of that, it's kind of like a blessing in disguise, because like I said, I'm introverted. So being recognized out in public, which has happened to me before, is extremely terrifying. And the reason why it's terrifying is whenever I first went viral, like on TikTok ever, I made these videos and I was on live and I was just talking about whatever. I forgot what I was talking about. But somebody commented, hey, I saw you on this street, next to this airport, next to this restaurant. It was good to see you. And I just saw you cruising. But what? No, I don't like that. Because what if they would have followed me home? What if they would have got capture of my license plate, you know, try to get my information, try to siphon information out of me or whatever. I don't like stuff like that because what if I was going to the store and they followed me and then they tried to like harm me? Because I mainly ride solo dolo by myself, right? I'm not with homies, and if I go, I'm out. I'm out by myself predominantly, right? So excuse me. So I don't like that. Now last year there was this case. I was in Florida and I was working at the job, and this guy came up to me, looked at me funny, looked at me like this, and I look at him like, "Yo, what's up? Like everything good?" And he says to me, "Yo, did you used to make TikToks?" He said, "I said, yeah." He said, "I saw you on TikTok." I laughed and I said, "Well, if you did see me on TikTok, what was I talking about?" He said, "You was talking about God and Jesus." I said, "Yeah, that was me." I said that was, and we smiled and we had like a little bit of dialogue. It was funny. It was cool. But what if that person didn't like me? Then what? Like I said, I be riding solo dolo because I'm introverted. I don't like being out in so maybe this is a blessing in disguise. Maybe this God is like protecting me or something. I don't know. I'm just throwing out a theory out there. But I don't like being out in the spotlight, but it felt good, to like have somebody recognize it. Like that was kind of funny. It was like 2 years later, so it was just like I was like, oh, that was cool. And also during the peak of COVID, I was walking past people, and I had two instances where these people did this whenever I walked by. They just looked at me. I was just like, yo, they recognize who I am, right? So it was cool, but making content going forward, will I make content again? Yes, I am, because that's just who I am. That's part of my character. But will I make it in a sense of like what I was doing before? Probably not. Reason for that is because like it's not worth it. It's not worth it to me anymore. It was good while it lasted. That was a season of my life, where like it was good. I never thought in my life that I would hit 75,000, or excuse me, well in this case, I actually hit 80, close to 100K. Like I never thought that that was real, right? Like so I never thought that that could actually happen. So it was a good experience, to have. One thing I can say about like the whole end of this is that I can say that I helped thousands, literally thousands of people get closer to God just by my words, right? Even though that it's over now and I'm not really necessarily helping anybody, like, well, I am, but not in the sense of like the grand scale that I did back during quarantine time. I'm not changing people's lives and doing all that stuff. There's way better preachers out there and everything. And I have a lot of content in my head that I wanted to like produce, but because I'm de-incentivized, it's like I don't want to do it anymore because I know that it's not going to get reached out to anybody. And yes, I'll make it, like I'm not saying I'm not going to do it ever again, but I'll make those videos, and if I can reach a couple of people, hey, fantastic, fantastic. But it's kind of sad knowing that I had those thousands and now I don't even have those hundreds anymore. I have like a couple of handful of people, not even hundreds, which is extremely insane. And TikTok algorithm is just weird. I don't understand how. I don't need to go into that, but that is the reason why I stopped making content, along with the shadow ban, me getting de-incentivized, the people who I was cool with that I'm not cool with, that they're not in my life anymore. Um, everything that I said. So yeah.